because it quit, I guess. I don't know how much you got there. All right, you guys. Jim Adkins here. In case you're just tuning into this video, this is take two. We apparently lost connection. I don't know where it lost connection. I'm just going to start somewhere and put these videos up. And if you have questions, reach out and I'll try and answer them. When I got sick of looking at your connection is gone, I was talking to Mr. Boyce about reversing Mace. If you missed anything else on the other video, please reach out and ask questions. I'll try and put it back up here tomorrow for you, okay? But I don't know where the feed dropped. So what we were talking about is reversing Mace. In reversing Mace, Mr. Boyce, just a left lunging punch. That means the left hand and the left foot move together. How do you draw the left punch? We talk about that. When you put your guard up, you bait the punch. Now notice that my guard's here. I'm fairly well covered, even if I'm in my adjustment or avoidant position. When I go like this, it opens up this zone. Subconsciously or consciously, your opponent will see that. If this is in front of their right hand, likely they won't choose that. They'll choose that left punch. Okay? And there are ways to almost guarantee it, but let's assume we're playing with a 50-50, better than a 10%, right? Watch my zone, though. I'm not here. I'm here. When I do that, that zone is open. But it's not only open, I have moved from zone 1 in a sparring term to their zone 1. Okay? So I put my hand like this, they throw that punch, I connect with the punch way before it even touches me. And I'm not going to push it out of the way, I'm going to follow it. That's what a parry is. So I'm going to follow the punch. This is reversing Mace. Okay? Hands are up, I draw, I bait that area, he throws the punch. Here's a key factor in the step behind the step behind in reversing Mace. If I do the technique as written and keep stance control and width and depth, proper proportion for the science behind Kempo perfection, it doesn't work. What I mean by that is this person's coming forward to throw the punch. Let's say that from their head to the end of their fist is right there. Okay? They're not going to stand right here because I have created that distance. They're going to be over here. Okay? Let's say they step forward now to throw the punch. Here's their head, and I step back to avoid the punch. If I take one more step into my stance for that back knuckle to hit them in the ribs, get the picture? I know without an opponent, it's kind of tough. I can pull my bag over here. Right? So there's the guy punching. And he steps in to throw the punch, and I step across to hit the ribs. Make sense? So what you'll see is an adjustment from this position. When that punch comes in, my hand and my foot will follow each other. When that punch comes, I'll make contact. I won't push it. I'll follow it, replacement step, and then as I move to the outward block, here's the back knuckle. One step, outward block, back knuckle. Go through, come back and attack the shoulder, and come around with a kick to the knee. Keep your heavy bags heavy. Reversing Mace. Ready? He throws a punch. Parry it. Outward block, ribs. I use the wrist and the shoulder as a check. I don't grab and hold for very long. And I do a wheel kick to the back of their knee in line with the humerus, or not to the femur, to the back of the knee. Okay? Straight down. Boom. Reversing Mace. Triggered salute. Right hand push. Left shoulder. Mr. Boyce. Step forward. Elongate their base. Pin their hand. Step forward, kick to the hinge of the jaw, pull down on the bicep. When you do this, your inward elbow to the ribs may not be as effective as you want, so you can go over to the face, come back to the face, all the way through if you want. So from the push, step forward. Even if they push you back, do that adjustment step and drop forward into your stance. Okay? All the way. Boom. Come down on the bicep, into the ribs, back to the ribs, back to the ribs, an uppercut, or into the face, hinge of jaw, other hinge of jaw. Don't turn their face this way and hit them in the teeth. Okay? Back knuckle, and you can finish with whatever technique you want. All right, Mr. Clark, and then I'll get out of your hair. Fighting stance versus neutral bow. Mr. Clark is working on a fighting stance versus a neutral bow. A fighting stance, in terminology, is basically the same as a neutral bow. You have your feet at 90-degree angles with a toe heel line pointing to your opponent. Neutral bow allows a little more forward mobility, a little more forward flexibility in that toe heel line is still there. Remember, back foot heel, 1 foot toe. Even if you're here, it's back and front. Okay? Their knees are bowed out. So fighting stance versus neutral bow stance is just terminology. When I work on a fighting stance, generally, I don't care where your big toe points as long as you're balanced and your knees are not affected by that. So remember, stances are not the end-all, be-all. There are people with one leg. There are people with no legs that do martial arts. Wheelchairs, crutch, cane, busted knee. So what you do more than anything else is create the stability by following the dimensional directions, bowing your knees out, centering your balance, keeping your pelvics in the right place, keeping your head up. Depending on what you're doing, I mean, there are forward stances, there are reverse stances. And in ninja, they call them postures because nothing is stagnant. But if you're working on a stance, your width, height, and depth need to match your proportions. That's just how it works. So there you go. All right, guys. I hope that helped. If you want the sword or the ninja weapons or the black belt stuff, you got to reach out and introduce yourself to me. I hope this worked. We will talk later. I will come back on Tuesday with next week's videos. All right, guys. Have a great day.